Well, today I decided to walk around the boat harbor a bit. I like to walk up and down these piers and see the different boats and see what's for sale, see what's been used and what's not been used. Some of them you can tell there's all this stuff growing on their props and stuff. You can tell they've never used it. And then some like this, they use it quite a bit and take good care of their boat. When I was younger, they only had about 4 or 5 of these docks. All this stuff on the other side over here is all brand new. They've expanded. All this part of the boat harbor is relatively new. It's a really good sized boat harbor. The other day I saw a sea lion in here, so maybe we'll see something. Hopefully an otter or a sea lion. We'll see. We have a lot of governmental agencies that have extra equipment. Right over there is actually the state trooper's boat. This is the Park Service's boat. Everybody likes a boat. Up here you'll see a lot of the governmental agencies like NOAA and etc. running around in flak vests and pistols, etc. And I always wondered what they needed that for, but I guess it's kind of cool, at least for them. This is a project boat that would be kind of fun. A lot of woodwork needed, but the wood looks in good shape, just needs cleaned up. It's a cute boat. So back in the late 90s, I used to work for a company out of New York area, and we were the largest financer of boats in the United States. I was the general manager for that business and spent a lot of time down in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, a lot of the big boat shows, set up relationships with Hatteras and Sea Ray and Wellcraft and quite a few companies. It was a fun time. It's a fun time to be in that business too. So I know a little bit about boats. I'm not much of a captain of a boat, but I do know a little bit about what they're worth and what you need to do to check them to make sure that they're worth buying, etc. There's a nice Minotaur. That's a big old sailboat there. Here's Coast Guard. They got their boat too. Everybody's got a little boat. Now this here is a fishing boat. I'm trying to figure out what he's doing. A lot of the salmon seiners look like that, but this one looks like it's maybe a longliner, a halibut longliner. And if you go back here, you can see all the hooks they got set up. So what they do is they pull that line out there with all the hooks and bait on it and leave it out for some time, and then they come back and winch it up and pull halibut aboard. These are popular sport fishing boats. They usually carry quite a few people, and you get out fishing and you're along the rails here and you can see the pole post there to hold the pole. And they fish halibut, salmon, rockfish, etc. I've been on this particular boat before. It's a nice boat. So this is a sightseeing boat ready to take off. You can see people lined up, ready to board. Usually they'll see whales, killer whales, sea lions, otter, lots of cool sea fish or sea birds like puffins, etc. So it's It's very well worth it. If you ever get out to Alaska or Seward, you definitely want to get out in the water. It's a whole nother world. Another boat for the National Park Service. Quite a few of them. This part of the boat harbor is mostly sport boats, personal boats. I think as we go closer to the fisheries, you'll run into some of the more working fishing boats. That place is called Ray's. It's a good little restaurant right there in the water. There's a nice bar. You can sit there and get a view of the water here, and it's just real nice. The other day I was with my oldest son and his wife, and it was the first time here, and right in here we saw a sea lion. So not here today, but you never know what you'll run into. This Miss Melody is a large seiner. I'm assuming salmon, but I can't be for sure. But what will happen is that it's probably in their hold. They have a big net. They drop it over and they pull away from the net, and they make a big U. They let that, what they call a hook, sit there for a while as the salmon go into it. And then a guy in a small boat will bring both ends together and make a seine. And the very bottom's got a way to pull it, so it basically makes a bowl of a net. And you gradually start bringing it in through that block, and you dry it up to the point where you can start taking the fish out. My first job was working the block, and that really blew. I can tell you, a lot of jellyfish and stuff got it down your neck, etc. And the colored ones sting. The white ones, or the clear ones, are fine, but the colored ones sting. Later on, I got promoted and wound up being what they call a skiff man, which is the sexier job, I would say, and much easier, much more fun. Here's another salmon seiner, and I was right, they are salmon seiners. I ran into the guy who owns it. I used to go to school with him. The other one, Miss Melody, is his brother, so I got a chance to visit with him and validated they are salmon seiners. They're pretty big. They said they fish Prince William Sound. This is a friend of mine's son's boat. I've known him for a long time. He's an industrious young man. He started his own little bed and breakfast kind of place in town. And believe it or not, he charters surfing. So he goes up into some of these really cold areas where they have great waves, and people from all over the world come to surf with him. He recently bought this boat here about, I don't know, a couple years ago, maybe a year ago. He's really done a lot of work on it. It looks pretty dang good for a big old steel boat. But that's how he is. He actually, I understand, I think it was last winter, actually completely rebuilt the engine. Pretty impressive. Here's another nice little restaurant called Chinook's. Has great food and a little bar. Next to it's the hotel. In between there is called J-Dock, and there, when you come back from a fishing boat, they'll process your fish or cut it in certain meal sizes that you want, and then vacuum pack and freeze so you can take back to home. So here's another boat. It's NOAA law enforcement, and I think these are the guys I see in town once in a while with all their gear and their guns and blackjack and everything else. It seems a little out of place downtown, but I guess that's what they have to wear in their job. Not sure what they're doing in the ocean that would require a enforcement, but I don't know a lot of things. These huge craft boats are quite popular around here. They're not super large. As you can see another one over there in the red, but there's quite a few of them around. They're nice boats. They're a little small, but they're good for the bay and the surrounding area. I wouldn't go too far out in the ocean with them. So that is Icicle Seafoods. It's the fish processing plant in town. It's been around a long time. It used to be called Seward Fisheries. My brother was actually the president of that company. They had lots of these plants across Alaska, and he was based out of Seattle. He's since retired. But I spent many a night, day in that plant butchering crab, processing salmon, squeezing herring, loading and unloading big trucks of frozen fish, driving the forklift, running the crane, unloading the boats. Some jobs were much better than others, but some of my happiest times were working there, and some of my best friends were there side by side with me. Brings back lots of memories. The plant's actually quite big. If you look over here, that's what they call the ice house. At least it used to be. My brother started his career there. He would come up from Texas in the summer and work the summers. And he kind of worked his way up, and he became the ice and bait man. So they bought him a hat that had said masturbator on it. Anyway, he worked his way up and wound up going to Homer and just kept working his way up and became the president. See, they're unloading a boat right now. I'm not sure what they're unloading, but they're working on a boat right now. This is inside of Ray's.